Hello, welcome back to Showtime number 12, where I have a sore throat, so I'm not speaking as loud as I normally do. Today we're looking at why being well rested and being able to think gives you better results. The fact is you will be able to concentrate better, be more aware of what's going on around you, and have way more patience to be able to deal with things going wrong or teammates being derpy, and just generally speaking be in a better mood and frame of mind to be successful. We also talked about in part 2 how capping is not necessarily the best way to go if you want to get more experience, or even generally speaking be a better player. Learning how to fight the enemy forces or counterattack their flanking maneuvers instead of just rushing towards their base trying to cap on the cap brace, or what they would call in StarCraft a base trade. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be able to actually go, okay, they're pushing heavily on that side, let's withdraw and fight them there and prevent them from outmaneuvering you. There is a time and a place to cap, and I've seen many pro teams lose due to it counter capping. But generally speaking, you want to be killing. Anyway, let's get into game, and today we have two M4 games where we're testing out why the derp is so derpy. Sam turned around to me when we played this game that he realised that I'm playing with the derp cannon and he himself is playing with the rapid fire when he plays with his M4, and he asked me which one is the better. So I turned around and said, well, duh, it's the M4. Anyway, on this map I recently changed the way I played on it, and I'm much happier with what I'm doing. Again, it's given me a good boost with his faster 3-4. But what I like doing on this map now is swinging out wide down to the fields here, especially when there's no artillery or very little artillery. And that way you've got so much really cool hills here to be able to attack this corner. Now, I guess one of the reasons I didn't do this beforehand is I've always played the Russian tanks, and the Russian tanks are really bad when it comes to depreciation on their turrets. So instead I'm going for American tanks and British tanks that can do that. I'm finding using these little hills and dips are much more effective for me. This shot should not have hit. It didn't actually go where I aimed, and it was just absolute fluke that it did. Although 4 HP, the guy was just like, what? So I aim fully and I take him out with the second shot. So that was unlucky T-34. I really feel for him. But not that much. There's so many times a snapshot gets me that I'm not really that bothered. Anyway, we noticed there that the enemy TDs and stuff are all holding back here, and I'm able to get some really good shots off here. 102 damage. As you see with HE shells, you do a reasonable amount of damage, but it's not silly. 100 damage from a rapid fire gun is not particularly high. I mean, like 80 odd damage is usually the sort of damage you get from it. So I do enjoy these derp guns when it's just normal HE. The difficulty and problem you'll get is when you notice that I go, and keep an eye on this number, guys. When you see me switch to premium, you'll see that the damage goes up on average. See, another 103 shots there. So keep an eye on the ammo type I'm using, and you'll see that although I'm doing well with the HE, and it's nice and fun with the HE, if I switch to premium shells, the damage just goes sky high, and it becomes very silly. And that's the problem with HE shells in general. The premium, HE cannons is the premium. And here we are still using our HE shells. Blasting away. As you see, 93 damage there against the KV-1. Now this is a really easy battle for us because of us here. Just the three of us, or four of us should I say, we've held back this entire force. So this flank is completely fallen, and our teammates are able to push up. So that's really nice. If you guys want your replay analysed by me and not me analysing my own replays, feel free to send them to rivetingtv@gmail.com. And I picked them for the show. It's normally Tuesday night, which is normally tonight. But because I don't feel very well, I'm just doing some of my games that I did today instead of my usual analysing of other people's. So if you go to the Riveting TV archive on YouTube, you'll see me normally analysing other people's replays. Cool. Anyway, over here we can see that I get a really good shot on the T-49, and most of the time here I am using HE shells and not premium, and it's doing just fine. You know, premium shells aren't necessarily needed for all the damage that you can do. And this is why I feel that they do just the premium shells really do ruin the game at this tier. Because if I was using premium shells for every shot, I would be doing average of 300 damage, not 100 damage. And that is a huge difference. The Stug here is face to face to me, and I believe this is going to be a premium shell that bounces. Yeah. If it was an HE shell, that actually would have done damage, but it was a premium shell and didn't go through, so the Stug was able to kill me off. I was like, what? Can't believe that happened. But as we see, we still managed to get the kill and win basically. So I'm just going to fast forward this, and I believe I don't even change camera. I said here that I misread, and that's really important to know, is that you need to realize your own mistakes. I pushed forward thinking that there was nothing left, but there was still a Stug hiding behind a bush there. Really well camouflaged. I think he must have had a camo net and good camo skill too, because I didn't spot him until I was like 100 meters away. And he managed to get a shot on me first. So that was actually a misjudgment for me. I shouldn't have died there, but I pushed down the road thinking, well, there's no defenders left, and I was wrong. So that's always good to look at, even when you win, and you win quite comfortably, to always go, what could I have done better? And here is the screenshot for that one. Okay. As you can see, again, I'm at the top there, and it was mostly with HE shells. It wasn't with premium. I fired like 2 premium shells, and one of them bounced and didn't go through. So it actually worked against me. But you can see how it was such a decimation, because the enemies had all the tanks focused in one area, and they were they were not able to do much because they were pinned by 2 tanks. 2 tanks held back their entire force, and because they had so many tanks on one side, they couldn't do anything on the other side, and one flank loses. You should always, if you've got more tanks, just roll them. If the enemy just ran at us, just literally broke cover and ran for us, we wouldn't have been able to do much. We'd have got 2 shots off, they would have overrun us, and we would have died. But they stay back and try to do a sniping fight, and we had the position advantage. Over the hill, shoot. Behind the hill. Up the shield, shoot. Behind the hill. So yeah. That really does show, I think, primarily that the premium shells aren't needed. You don't need to have the premium shells for the HE, and if you do use them, well, they have a lot of advantages, and they have a few disadvantages, granted, but a lot of advantages too. So I just don't think they're needed in the game. I think that Wargamer could actually get rid of them, or just make them like more damage HE, or bigger blast radius HE, something like that, which would still make them amazing. However, in our next game, we are in a tier 6. In fact, so tier 6 that we're the only tier 5s on our team apart from a poor little Hetzer. And not only that, I note to Sam that we're in a platoon heavy game. If you notice there, only 2 guys on their team and 3 on ours aren't in a platoon. So yeah, this is the M4 Sherman, the tier 5 medium tank, that goes then onto the Easy 8 and the E8. The E2, sorry. The Jumbo. It's a really nice tank. It's probably one of the best tier 5s out there, just because it's just so highly, I don't know, versatile. But anyway, we're now on the opposite side on this map, so I'm going to go over here to the buildings, much the reverse of what I normally do, or I did do from the last time. You notice over here, some enemies who've decided to push forward. I shoot on the move. I'm not sitting in the open field to be able to take that shot. If I did, I'll be asking for damage. So I get into cover before I take that, before I stop to aim. I just fired on the move, because you never know if you would hit, but I'm not worried about the credit loss for taking a shot, and I'm not worried about the stat loss either. So again, we're moving around these buildings here, and what am I typing? I obviously was doing something there. So yeah, so always get into cover first. Don't just stop in the middle of an open field. Always try to get into cover before aiming, unless you really absolutely have to. And that grill there could easily one-shot an M4 Sherman, so you should be very careful. Hellcat's rushing in. I quickly get into position where I can aim and take a quick shot against him. Boom. What a shot. Able to take him out, because HE against a lightly armoured vehicle does so much damage, so that was nice. And again, another tank comes from the corner, and I do another shot out in the open. No damage taken so far. I predict what the enemy are doing, I watch the mini-map, I see them coming, and then I predict where they're going before I take the shot. And I pop out, he's not looking at me, take a shot. Went straight over his head. And that's the other thing with derp cannons, they are so inaccurate. Yeah. When you see open top vehicles as well, just a note that you can easily take them out by shooting the open top area. And HE within the blast radius, it searches for the weakest point. So if you see an open top turret vehicle, you shoot the top of the turret, even at the front, it will do max damage. Now unfortunately this guy is going straight for Sam to get the kill. He's seeing red and I'm unable to stop him. And I unfortunately miss my shots and Sam goes down. However, I pop out to take the next shot and finish this guy off. That was a premium shot. I felt really bad that I was too slow to help, but I'm still at max health. I was doing well with my positioning and understanding where the enemy was coming from, and God has it been target rich. Sorry about my lack of talking, because as I said, my throat's very sore. Anyway, I try a few long range shots here just to do a bit of extra damage, but as you see, we've already won. I've not bothered going over here, there's no need, we've got so many allies. However, this bit's struggling a little, so I thought I'd come over to help and try and do a little bit more damage. However, there's only one tank left, so I'm going to fast forward it a little bit to get over there. Again, another decisive victory, and it wasn't because our tanks are better than their tanks or our players are that much better than their players. It's purely positioning and the amount of damage sustained by having a good spread of vehicles. You notice we didn't have a lemming train, and I bounced off the top exactly like I said don't do. I hit the top of the rear and bounced off the back of a T50 150. So remember, never aim for the top of the back of a KV1 hull. Anyway, able to destroy the T150 and take him out. So that was easy job. And the last screenshot for you would be this one. Okay. So as you can see, again, very easy to get a lot of experience points if you're in the right place at the right time. Reading where you need to go and being in the middle of it and being able to do some early damage will tip things in your favor really quickly. Because if you are able to do some damage and take out a few enemy guns, that's less guns fighting against your newbies. Assume everyone in your team are a bit newbie, and that if you kill 5 enemy tanks really early, not late, really early, then your team outnumber them. They outnumber them like 15 to 10. So that gives you immediately a much higher chance of success. If you sit back and let a lot of tanks get damaged and your guys lose a few and they lose a few, you run the risk that you won't get that overwhelming advantage. You won't get that overwhelming push at the start of the game. So doing damage early is much more valuable than doing damage late. Although doing damage is certainly important. It just goes to show all these games today where all but one I was top of the XP list purely for being in the right place, being right at the front, doing a lot of spotting damage, doing a lot of actual damage, and just doing a lot at the front, right at the front. I don't think I can say it as much, you know. Be at the front. Be smartly at the front. Don't suicide. Be smartly at the front where you're needed, and you will find yourself getting a lot of XP and yourself doing a lot better for yourself. Learn the individual maneuvers and how to perform. As you watched today, you saw that I was angling and I was side scraping, able to out trick some opponents. Not all, but most of them were able to not do so much damage to me, and I was able to do a lot more damage to them. And because I was at the front, I was able to do a lot more damage than I sustained and basically win the game. I didn't single-handedly win, but as I always say, it starts off like this, and if you do 5% victory towards your teammates and all the rest of your teammates do 50%, as in they only perform to the actual like average, like 50%, then you win because that 5% wins. If one of their teammates do an extra 5% and one of your guys do 45%, your 5% offsets that. I hope this makes sense. So basically, any good things that you do are offset by any bad things your teammates do or any good things your opponents do. So the more good things you do, the higher chance you have to win. even in a team of 15. So if you do a lot of good things, there's a good chance your team will win, especially if you do them early. A lot of people complain to me that their win ratio is low, but they think that they're a good player. I watch their replays, and it's because they do a lot of damage late in the game. They do it much later than everyone else, and therefore their team can't take advantage of that. And that's the way it goes. So remember to get a lot of rest. Play your games with a fresh mind and not angry. If you want to relax and just play tanks, do so. But if you want to get better and you actually want to focus, then try having a 15-minute power nap. Just 15 minutes, no longer than that, just 15-minute power nap. It allows you to refresh your brain and get a little bit focused. Make sure you're not eating a lot of sugar. Being energetic like that is no good for your mind. It's good for your body if you want to do something really bursty, but it's no good for concentration. You become a bit scatty. So try and be well rested, and you'll find yourself concentrating a lot better. Right, I have 5 minutes remaining for any questions. Are there any questions people want to ask in the chat? And I will do my best to answer them. Indeed. Get up, have a stretch, go for a run, do some press-ups, anything like that after a couple of games will also help you keep focus. What is that game on your wall? Hold on, let me see. Let me check my camera. Which game? Are you on about the ones up there? Faction for recommend for new players. Now, honestly, I think it's the American tree. The reason I say the American tree is I think there's a lot of diversity there, and there's a lot of skills you can learn with the American tanks. They're quite easy to play and hard to master, but most of them have a lot of redeeming factors about them that you can quickly get about. Whether you either take their medium tanks with the M4, amazing tank, the E8, amazing tank, E2, amazing tank, or the TDs, the Hellcat, the Jackson, both very good. They have a lot of forgiving properties. They're quite tough, some of them. If you go down the T32 route, you've got very tough tanks as well. So they're very forgiving, and they've got average guns. They've got good accuracy, they've got good damage, they've got good penetration. Never excelling in anything really, but their armor is very good, and they're very good at keeping hold down positions. And you never get frustrated by looking over a hill and not being able to aim down like you do with the French or the USSR. So I would definitely say USA for anyone, the USA, sorry, for anyone who's just started playing. Tips for the TOG. Side scrape. You've got a big enough side. Now, drive forward and don't stop. Get into battle. The biggest problem with the TOG is that you've arrived so late, it's hard to influence the battle. Yeah, the Cromwell is... if you're going to try and use the Cromwell on any map with like a choke point or anything like that, you can't obviously use your speed to your advantage. The idea is then to just hide behind tanks, and you have to then pop out, shoot, pop back again. Don't aim, pop out, shoot, pop back again. Pop out, shoot, pop back again. If you have to be in a choke point. If you can't, if there is any other way to go another way. You're so fast and so maneuverable that you should be able to go another way. Try and avoid, as best you can, any choke points. But if you have to, wait for the enemy to shoot at one of your heavy tanks, pop out, shoot, pop back again. Don't aim. Don't sit in the open and aim, because you will die. You have no armor. What is the best tank in World of Tanks? That is very subjective. By best, you mean fun? I'll say the TOG. By best, you mean... I'm trolling. It's very fun, but it's still... if you're best, you mean best scout. It really depends if you like passive or active, and it really depends on your personality as well. If your personality allows you to... sit still in a slow heavy tank trundling towards the enemy, then some of the slower heavy tanks might be better for you. But if you like really fast tanks, then maybe it wouldn't be. So I wouldn't say that there's any way to do that. How often do I stream? Well, glad you asked. Below in the below the video, there should be a link to the new stream. The new beta for Twitch. Don't worry, it won't permanently switch you to that, but in there will be all the details you would ever need. But basically it's every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday around 8 CET. 8 p.m. CET, 20 CET, or 7 if you're in the UK, or a bit later if you're anywhere else. Um, I am. We also occasionally on Sundays play a Let's Play, where we just pick any tank and go there. And recently, I don't really stream myself playing, but I'm always online. So if you want to send me a message in game, I'm more than glad to platoon up if I'm free. No, I don't know a Jordan 23. Yes, ramming damage against a Cromwell is always a good thing, and they're so light you can easily take them down. Movies or books or games collection on that shelf to my right. They are, should I say, all role-playing books, apart from two. One is the movie book the series companion for Red Wolf 8, and one is the Song of Ice and Fire artwork book before the movies came out. So that's really good. Do you listen to music while playing? Yes, I do, but not always. It depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling happy and casual, I'll listen to music. If I'm serious and really want to play, I would have the in-game music on only. It really depends on my mood. So that's it, really. Cool. Any other questions? Did I miss any? How long have I played guitar? Well, on and off since I was about 12. But I keep taking big breaks from it. I get busy with life or whatever, or my band disbands. But I did do a 7-year stint with one band where we started touring the Southwest around Bristol. And we released 2 albums. I say released 2 albums, released 1 album, but the other album was just like a live recording that we had. We were in the middle of recording our second set of singles when we decided that we'd go different ways. So that was good. I'm not getting drunk from water. I'm just trying to keep my throat hydrated so I don't make it worse. Because as you can tell, I'm not particularly healthy right now. What's my best song, Guitar Hero? Oh, Danny California was always a good one. I could always do that like 100%. Vocals as well as guitar. At the same time, of course. Muse Hysteria. I could do vocals and guitar on that one too. That was always a good one. So yeah. Yes, I did write a book. I didn't ever finish it though. It was called Final Supremacy. And it was written when I was quite young on a forum and then taken to editing. It's not particularly good. It's quite immature. I was writing it collab with 2 other people, sort of, and it's not particularly the best. I've always thought of revisiting it, but at the moment I'm just always busy. I always find other things to do. But I will one day return to writing. So, yeah. Do some riffing from Nightscape. No, I did that the other day, and I don't want to run you guys off. Plus, I'm not feeling very well, but I will do another day again. Yeah. So apart from that, I think that we're at the end. Do you think War Thunder will be any good? Now, I think it's personal preference. War Thunder seems very arcadey. The hit detection and stuff like that is very basic. It's very much you hit someone, you do damage. It's just an HP pull. It's not got the complicated ricochets and stuff that you get in World of Tanks. So I got a feeling it's going to be much more like PlanetSide, where the front does less damage than the sides and the rear, and that sort of stuff, where you drive a tank into battle. As long as you shoot your front, you do receive less damage, and that's going to be the tops of it. It's going to be very arcadey compared. I know they have historical battles and stuff like that, but from what I've seen, the graphics are pretty, but they look very plasticky to me, and it's just a personal opinion. They look quite plasticky. It looks like you're playing Airfix, so it gives that feel of like Toy Soldiers, which is cool. I loved the Toy Soldiers games when I was younger, and I think that it's definitely going to be worth a few hours, but generally speaking, I think it's just going to be a different game. It's going to feel very different. It's going to feel like it's much more aim and shoot like Quake or PlanetSide 2. It's going to be very much like PlanetSide 2. So that's just my opinion so far. They might prove me wrong, but that's my opinion. And there's 2 different markets for that. Many games have done the all-in-one. the tanks, airships, troops. Battlefield has done it for ages, but you get the sense that it's all very arcadey, that there's not much depth to all of it. You play PlanetSide, you feel that everything's just lacking. It's okay in every department, but it's just a little bit lacking in any one area when you take it and compare it to something that's only doing one thing. So that's just my opinion. Do I like to stream or do you hate streaming? I like streaming, guys. I wouldn't do it. I don't, generally speaking, do Let's Play because I fancy doing shows where people turn up for this particular show and then we all go off and do our own thing. We all got lives to live, and I feel that just watching someone play for ages, although cool and it's really nice, isn't what I'm aiming for. I want to be able to put like a condensed, just a condensed show together for people to watch. That's it, really. Yeah, I have 666 followers, so I'll leave you with that. That I really am the devil, and don't follow us, else we lose the 60. No, I'm joking. Follow us by all means. Also, check out the RivetingTV archive where I put these shows after the fact. I know I've been falling behind in posting the episodes because I've been ill, but I'll try and catch up as soon as I can. So thank you all for turning up, and I will see you all soon, or in game. Bye! Yay!